not motivated, right, to begin my podcast because I hadn't written out a topic and a framework to discuss. And it was getting later and later in the evening, and I was getting tired. So my motivation to start my podcast was not there. And I know that once I get into my podcast, I love talking about whatever topics I'm going to talk about because I know that they help people move forward. Well, despite my motivation, doing my podcast is a daily habit. That's right. This is episode 97 of my daily podcast on YouTube. Episode 97 on YouTube and Spotify. And so 97 days straight, no fail, I have done a video and a podcast every single day. And that has nothing to do with my motivation, right? My motivation is lacking and is slacking, but my habit actions cause me to do it anyway. And that is what we have to begin to understand, is that our emotions can be our friend in certain situations, right? In certain situations, our emotions, you can use the energy from your emotions to help you to drive you forward. But there are many times that our emotions, what they're telling us not to do is instinctual, right? It dates back to the caveman days when we were running from lions, and if we were out of the group, right, we would probably starve to death. So things like that that we think about cause us to react now in present time, right, differently when it comes to our emotions, right? You know, you don't want to be outcast of your circle of influence. So a lot of times the things that you talk about, right, and the things you do discuss and the things you do agree or disagree on have to stay within the realm of the group, what the group talks about, what the group always thinks about, and how the group always feels. So a lot of your emotions, okay, are based on the fear of breaking the norms of the group. So because you don't want to break the norms of the group out of fear, your action is to agree with what everybody says, right? So that all of you guys continue to get along and the group stays together. The thing is, that is embedded in you instinctually, that you don't want to be outside of the group circle with a difference of opinion. And so you have to understand that, and you have to learn how to work beyond that when it comes to finding a new circle of influence, right? Sometimes, or most of the times, when you're around a certain group of friends that maybe that you came up with, you usually grow out of those friends. You grow out of the things that you guys had in common. And the only way to break out of that group is that you have to begin to have a difference of opinions on certain topics that are important to you. And emotions will stop you from doing that. But if you begin to slowly but surely add other people to that circle, now you gain a new power and a new circle. So emotionally, even though you feel like you're being outcast of the group when you begin to disagree, you actually have a certainty that you are moving into another group that is upgraded from the group that you were previously in. So now you don't have a problem disagreeing and saying things that are different than the norm from the group. And so then in turn you begin to grow, right? And so by understanding your emotions, right, and how you react to certain things, you can shape, move, and mold your life in order to move it toward growth. And I think that's the most important part that I want to get out of this topic on emotions, because there are many times that my emotions have stopped me dead in my tracks from doing things that maybe I was too tired or too exhausted to get done, and then my emotions kicked in, my feelings about doing something, or meeting a deadline, and I began to put it off, and the more I began to put it off, the more the emotion of fear of not getting it done kicked in. And when that emotion of fear kicked in, what happened, guys, was I began to rationalize not doing it. Like, okay, I'll do it later. You know, when it came to write my book, man, I wanted to finish my book, Top 25 Mistakes, before April 1st, right? And I believe I gave myself like, I'm going to say a 6-month window. 6-month window from the time I started, right? Just a raw material and trying to put them together in some type of topic. I just had a big, huge outline. And so I decided that I was going to write every single day for 2 hours. 2 hours every day, I was going to write on a topic, and I had certain deadlines mapped out, how many pages was going to be in each chapter, and how I was going to finish each chapter. Now, I'll tell you guys, and you guys know, any of you guys who brought the first edition Top 25 Mistakes and Route to the Good Life, all the same material was there, but the book was a mess. It was a mess because it wasn't formatted like a book. It was just formatted as all my thoughts, and boom, threw them on paper for people to read. And and it wasn't until several of my friends and mentors and people who were trying to help me out read it, they said that, hey, this is some great material, but it will be easier to consume if you broke it up in bits and pieces. And so, hence, I came out with my second edition, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life. And from there, I did an audiobook. And from there, I'm doing a Top 25 Mistakes course. Okay, a course that helps people to make less mistakes in their life, no matter what field they're in. So, I am constantly now staying away from the habit of being motivated to do something and writing out what I have to do and just doing it anyway. And so that's what we need to do, guys. And you know, like I told you guys before, this podcast was going to be unscripted, and I was going to talk about emotions, and I talked about emotions, and I just want you guys to understand that it is not how you feel, right? It is how you act on what's important to you. So, a lot of people, even though they're afraid to do something for themselves, they'll do it for a wife. They'll do it for their children. They'll do it for their parents or people they love. Even though they're afraid to do it, they will do it, right? And that is the same type of willpower, not even willpower, I don't even know what the word is for it, guys, but that is the same type of drive that you need when it comes to completing your goals and doing things that you need to do. I tell people all the time, write out what you want. You need to see it on paper. You need to look at it every day. I used to have mine in my bathroom mirror, and I used to look at it every day, twice a day, once when I brushed my teeth and once when I went to bed. And I would just look at what I wanted. And once I began to do that, my mind began to shift on ways to get it done despite how I felt. If I woke up tired, I did it anyway. If I woke up sad, I did it anyway. If I woke up upset, I did it anyway. Right? It didn't matter. My feelings were insignificant when it came to me accomplishing my goals. And this is how we get things done. You have to eliminate your feelings when it comes time